Guess what time it is? It's everyone's favorite time of the week. It's time to sit down with your friends at a table and play some D&D. Well, your friends and your one friend's cousin who's from out of town and he swears that he's played D&D like so many times. You prepped for hours. You have pages of dialogue for the Baron. You mapped out the complex political schemes of his kids and mapped out every single conversation tree. You even came up with specific goods that he's had imported. Then the session starts, and the Paladin's divine sense immediately pings evil on the Baron, and the rogue, bless their chaotic heart, decides to set the building on fire as a distraction. All of your meticulously crafted notes are just fuel for the fire that you did not see coming. For all of my dungeon masters out there, I know this all sounds painfully too familiar. Your hours of planning for every contingency, every possibility, only for the players to do the one thing that you never expected. And all of that prep suddenly feels wasted, and there can be a real frustration there. I'm here to tell you something that may sound wild. The problem isn't necessarily the players, and it's not you either. It's your prep. Changing how you prep for a session can be one of the single most powerful ways to combat fatigue and frustration with DMing. I've got just about 10 years of DM experience under my belt at this point, so I'm gonna give you a couple of steps that always seem to make things easier for me and for anyone else who's just starting out DMing. Plus, if you're a veteran as well, who knows, maybe you'll pick up a few pointers too. This flexible prep method can save you hours and dramatically reduce that pre-game anxiety, as well as give you some rock-solid confidence to handle whatever the players decide to throw at you, no matter how wild. But if you don't know me yet, my name is Sir Bearsworth, guiding creators, shaping worlds, and forging heroes. Many DMs, new and old alike, fall into a very similar pitfall. You're thinking about the story almost 24/7. You're thinking about all the different directions that you can take it, what encounters you want to implement, what big bads you want to throw at the party. And before you know it, you've become just a novelist. You suddenly have a story that you want to tell, complete with a beginning, middle, and end. To a novelist, the session is just another chapter in the book that they are writing. And the players are just characters who have to hit their cues to push the plot forward. The problem with this is Dungeons & Dragons is not a novel. It's a collaborative, ever-evolving story. And like it or not, your players are co-writers in that story. If the second you give your players some semblance of agency in the story that you're telling, the very thing that makes the game fun, causes your grand story to shatter, it might be better that it stays broken. So stop being a novelist. Instead, become an architect. An architect doesn't write a script for the lives of the people that will be within their building. They just design the space. They create a solid foundation, interesting rooms with distinct purposes. A real fun architect also puts some hidden passages in there as well. It should be a functional, dynamic environment. Once that's all built, then you trust those people to go within the building and live out their lives, make their own choices, and create their own stories within that structure. I'm not saying your players won't throw a rock out the window and break out of the building, but at the end of the day, an architect will create a scenario, not the plot. Your job isn't to write what the players will do. You can certainly have a couple of guesses. Your job is to create a situation packed with potential and tension, and then let your players' actions ignite the story from there. At the end of the day, prep should be about being efficient and putting your energy where it's going to matter the most for the next game. So your focus should be on the things that make actual tangible differences at the table. So, how do we actually become an architect? Especially in a way that we don't go into hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt. Let's go over the 5-step framework that we can adapt to your needs and your style. Because I want to preface this with, all DMs and all games are not going to have the same style of play. The needs of a super narrative-focused, story-driven game may not be the same of your Monster of the Week dungeon crawl. These are just some good catch-all steps that you can benefit no matter what side of the coin you fall on. Step 1. Establish a strong start. Before you're planning for the next session, we need to look back at where we came from. Prep truly starts at the end of the previous session. What loose ends are dangling from last session? What did the players explicitly say that they wanted to do next? Either ending your session on a cliffhanger, so you know exactly what needs to be paid off next week, or simply finishing off the session with a question. So what's the plan? Where do we go next? And based on that, you have your starting point. If they ended the last game saying, next time we're going to the Sunken Temple, you know exactly where you need to put all your focus to. A strong start makes sure that the world feels reactive to their choices and gets the game moving quicker. It immediately shows the players that their choices have payoffs. Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be bad, but they aren't left thinking that the world just hit pause when the session ended. You're respecting their agency, their choices, and you're hooking them right back into the action. You know what's going to take your prep to the next level? Hitting that subscribe button. I'm putting out overviews and DM guides week after week. So make sure you're tuned in for the next one. And if you have some ideas on some future tips you want to learn about, drop them in the comments below. Step 2. Outline potential scenes. You'll want to jot down a couple of bullet points of some scenes or events that may happen on the party's excursion that day. Now, don't get it twisted, this is not a script, and you're not railroading the party into hitting all of these events. This is simply the skeleton of possibility, a bank of ideas. Maybe the players confront the Baron, or perhaps they try and sneak into the temple, or they could get ambushed by their rivals on the road. The key word here is potential. If your players go in a completely different direction, it's no big deal. You only spent a few minutes on the outline. Think of these as event triggers. This gives you material to draw from no matter where the players go. The ultimate goal is to have options. And the best part is, those good ideas that you jotted down can still be used down the road. Recycling. Step 3. Prep your NPCs and encounters. There's a good chance your players won't remember the Baron's import-export business, but they will remember memorable characters and unique challenges. For most key NPCs, you don't need a 10-page backstory for them. Just know what makes them useful for improvisation. Give them a name, a memorable trait of some kind, and a motive that the party could work with. A simple motive for an NPC can vary. Perhaps they just want to protect their family at all costs. Or maybe it's something a little bit more quirky, like constantly misquoting proverbs. This is always going to inform you on how to play them and what to say next if the party's interacting with them. For encounters, if you happen to watch my combat video, which I'll have linked up here, grab some monsters and enemies that thematically fit the story that you're trying to tell. And don't forget, if you really want it to be a challenge for the party, create some synergistic combos between the enemies. But biggest help here for your prep, make sure you have their stat blocks ready. This is one to this day I still suffer with. Trust me, I know what the encounter is going to be, I've already looked at the stat blocks, and then suddenly you have to make a wisdom saving throw and you don't know what the bonus is. Or you forget what their AC is. So save yourself the time from flipping through a book or flipping through all of the 20,000 open tabs you have on your browser, and just make sure you have those stat blocks nearby. Now that you have those stat blocks there, don't neglect the environment. I won't belabor the point. An ambush in a narrow canyon with falling rocks is always going to be more fun than a blank 30 by 30 room. If your party's getting into a fight, let's have some fun with it. Step 4. Prepare your breadcrumbs. This is a secret weapon when it comes to flexible prep. Before the session, create a list of a couple of secrets or clues that the party may manage to stumble onto, but make sure they aren't tied to any specific person, place, or object per se. These are just little packets of information that you can drop into the game whenever it feels necessary. Some examples could look like, the temple's guardian is blind, but has keen hearing. Or the Baron is secretly in debt to a prominent thieves guild. or the artifact that everyone's been searching this tomb for is actually a convincing fake. You can then drop these clues wherever your party may go next, whether it's from a book in a library, or a passing conversation with a goblin, or perhaps it's just a classic rumor overheard in the tavern. This technique rewards players' curiosity and has the added benefit of making you look like a genius who planned everything from the start. We both know it's not true, but let them keep believing that. Did the party ignore the wise old sage that you prepped to go interrogate a guard instead? Perfect! That guard just so happened to overhear one of the secrets you needed to reveal. This method is going to ensure that the story is always moving forward, because the information will find the players. Step 5. Develop some fantastic locations. Think about it like Google Maps. You only really need to load the high-resolution details for the general neighborhood that you're looking at. That's going to be where your players are currently at. You definitely do not need the entire planet loaded in as well. For any likely locations, a dungeon, a tavern, a throne room, jot down a couple of sensory details. What does it look, sound, or smell like? What makes it unique? Having a few interesting features prepped is just going to make it easier on you to improvise a little bit more of a living, breathing world. Instead of some crazy, hyper-detailed battle map, instead you could just write something along the lines of, the throne room smells of damp stone and burnt-out torches. A massive, cracked stained glass window of a forgotten king, casting colorful, broken light on the floor. The Baron's throne sits atop a stone dais, one of its arms carved into a snarling wolf, and its teeth inlaid with silver. These details are all you need to bring a location to life for the players. It gives them something to get their imaginations going and something to interact with. This 5-step philosophy helps every DM, but it addresses different pain points depending on your experience level. For my new DMs out there, the biggest challenge is often the feeling of being completely overwhelmed. This step-by-step approach should help build up your confidence in these early couple of sessions. Breaking prep down to a simple checklist is going to ensure that you cover the essentials while not getting bogged down in unnecessary details. Building out your session this way should help really fight back those feelings of anxiety when just staring at a blank page, and run games with a sense of security and self-assuredness, especially if things aren't necessarily going to plan. And for my experienced DMs out there, I know you guys probably aren't fighting for confidence. What you're fighting for is time. Between work, family, other commitments, finding hours to prep for a session can be impossible. This method is all about efficiency. You can likely knock out these 5 steps in 30 to 60 minutes max. If you're like me, relying on your improv skills can get you far sometimes, but having that prep acting as a safety net, a little treasure trove of great ideas, NPCs, and secrets, it prevents burnout by focusing all of your creative energy on what's most important. What's going to be most impactful at the table? Good D&D prep isn't about predicting the future or writing a novel for your friends to act out. It's about being an architect, not a novelist. It's about preparing a scenario rich with possibilities, not a rigid, unchangeable story. By using a flexible method, you build a framework that allows itself to bend and adapt to your players' choices without breaking under their creativity. This approach is going to save you time, cut down on that pre-game stress, and hopefully lead to more exciting, organic, and memorable games. Stop trying to control the story. Instead, prepare for possibility, prepare for adventure, and prepare to be surprised right alongside your players. Both you and them will have a much better time for it. What are some of your go-to session prep tips? Drop them down in the comments below. We can all benefit from everyone's perspective on this. And if you feel like you learned something here, make sure to hit that like button. As well as if you want to stay informed on more videos that I'm putting out, hit that subscribe button. But I've been Sir Bearsworth, guiding creators, shaping worlds, and forging heroes. And I'll see you all at the table.
Bye.